I was having the worst few months of my life at the time, treated like shit at work, pretty much been bullied every day by my manager for 7 months straight, broke up with my partner of 10 years, my literal childhood sweetheart, all I'd ever known, and I was at breaking point after suffering through 2 years of dealing with being the target of his mental illness. I cried all the way to the train station after work, full on open mouth sobbing like a child. I had enough and was experiencing some pretty dark thoughts. This train station is only small, but is usually busy at this time as it's rush hour. It faces a forest-type area and looks like a shack, but the trains make a stop once an hour, so there's usually tons of people. It was pouring down, and I was struggling to breathe through the crying. The rain was loud, and I walked up to the steps. There was mist from the rain and fog on the lines. It was still day, but the sky was dark and moody. When I took the first step, the rain stopped almost instantly. There was no noises from the usual wildlife scurrying through the bushes. Birdsong was gone, no wind, just silence. I stopped crying, mostly from being kind of startled, and I got this wave of peace cross over me. I half questioned the emptiness of the platform, but honestly didn't pay much attention. I looked down the platform to the only bench, and a young woman was sat there. She was wearing a headscarf and a hood, several layers, and saw me and beckoned me to sit. She was beautiful, had this radiant caramel skin, big brown eyes, and a slight frame. I just walked over and sat. I was compelled. I got such a calm, familiar feeling from this woman. I'd never seen her before, but just felt so, I don't know, at home with her. She said I was a beautiful girl, and that I should not have such a heavy heart, and touched my hand, which felt so instantly reassuring. I hate to be touched by anyone, so this was so strange that I felt this way. She said, "There's a place for all of us." Normally I'd cringe, but I felt like she broke my chest into pieces, and I let all my emotions out on her. She began to ask me about my aspirations and struggles. We talked about how to deal with sexism in the workplace, and she gave me the most sincere advice and wisdom. We discussed topics that she brought up, but that directly related to the struggles I was facing. Almost too specific. She told me her name, which for the life of me now I can't remember, which is so strange because I have an amazing memory, but she just made me feel so at peace. It felt like we were talking for hours, but I was shocked to realize the clock at the train station told me it had only been around 20 minutes. All of a sudden, she told me she had to go, and that she'll see me again sometime, and that she knows I will be fine. I had never felt more reassured in my life. I watched her go round the corner, and all of a sudden the rain almost like resumed is the only word I can think of. Like it was paused. The mist ramped up again and the sound came back to the world as people almost immediately began to fill the platform. I was stunned. I sat there with this overwhelming feeling in my chest that I had experienced this magical moment as the hustle and bustle of people filled my ears. It may sound basic, but the atmosphere was euphoric for that small amount of time, and now there were people and sound, and it was all so strange. I Googled her name when she was gone and went through an entire Wikipedia page dedicated to the name of an angel from Islamic culture. I'm so annoyed my brain seems to have deleted this name. I remember the most basic interactions and their names, their pets' names, minor details. But for some reason, I can't remember for the life of me this woman's name, who walked into my life that stormy night and gave me strength at a time when I had no one. I genuinely almost knew immediately after she was gone. I'd just met an angel. And I am not religious or particularly spiritual, but the way my mind and body reacted to her was such an intense feeling. If it wasn't for her, I would have continued in a downward spiral. But she touched me, and from that moment on, I changed my outlook. Thank you, mystery woman. You're an angel either way. This was 4 years ago. I've never seen her since. Also thought it was strange that she was there on a bench at a random train station where there's only one train in the middle of nowhere, spoke to me, and then left. She couldn't have just got off another train because she would have to have been there for ages beforehand. She was just there, and then she was gone, and clearly wasn't planning a journey.